evening, Ms. Wilson?
Just routine drinking. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where do you want to start?
I think we're writing on Ford. He has 2 files.
Mr. Ford.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on the record in dockets 230511 and 23033739. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Cleveland Ford. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Etheridge.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Derek Etheridge, also public defender on behalf of Mr. Ford, who is in the courtroom standing to my right.
And sir, you are Cleveland Ford, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference on both files. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. There are some outstanding discovery issues that need to be addressed. I've spoken with Mr. Etheridge, and it sounds like Mr. Ford is prepared to waive his 21 days today, and we'd be requesting a new date about 2 to 3 weeks out.
And Mr. Etheridge, is that a fair statement?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. We have not received discovery in the weapons charge file. We are missing some discovery in the OWI file. There is quite a bit of discovery videos in the OWI file that he and I need to review. And there's some follow-up investigation that I need to do as well. So we're asking the court to accept a waiver of the 21 days. I've discussed it with Mr. Ford. He is ready to waive it at this time, and ask the court to set the matter out for at least 3 weeks.
All right, thank you. May I inquire your client of the waiver of the 21-day rule?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ford, you understand on both of these files, 23-03511 and 23-03739, you have the right to a preliminary examination within 21 days. Do you understand that? A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime has been committed and the identity of the person who committed that crime. You are represented today by Attorney Derek Etheridge, and he would be present to cross-examine any witnesses, contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. It is my understanding it is your wish today to waive your right to a prelim only within that 21-day period. You wouldn't be waiving your right to a prelim in general, just within that 21-day period, so that Mr. Etheridge can get all the discovery needed in order to zealously represent you in both of these files. It is your wish. Is it your wish today to waive your right to a preliminary examination within that 21-day period?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Wilson, I'm assuming the people also waive their right?
The people also waive their right to a prelim within 21 days.
Okay, I find the waiver of the 21-day rule on file 23-03511 and 23-03739 to be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made. And we will reset for at least it sounds 3 weeks out, at least.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, reset for 3 weeks out.
And Your Honor, could we at least have a PCC as well? Because for the weapons charge, I haven't received discovery in order to have a proper PCC.
All right.
Do we want to do PCCs for both?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do reset the PCC, and we'll do a PCC date and a preliminary examination date.
The PCC will be the 30th.
So that's June 30th.
I'm sorry, it's May.
That's what I think. That's within 3
I was
weeks.
gonna do the PCC in 2 weeks.
No, because we'll need discovery for CCC purposes
I just-
before we can get to the prelim.
PCC June. It's that now.
Okay, so PCC June 6th at 9. And preliminary examination,
June 13th at 1:30. 13th at 9.
June 13th at 9 for prelim. Right, Mr. Ford, please keep in contact with your attorney, Mr. Etheridge.
Yes, sir.
You will get notice on both those dates for June 6th for the PCC date and June 13th for the preliminary examination date. All right, sir. Anything else for the record in either of these files, 23-03511 or 23-03739, Ms. Wilson? Mr. Etheridge.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you. And we'll see both on those dates.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Just have a seat on the bench. I'll get a copy of the notes.
All right.
Where? I want to read in the back.
And then Mr. Nagel, you're also here for Ms. Buchanan's PCC.
I am, yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wilson, where are we next?
So I see Mr. Neal is on, I haven't received a substitution of counsel yet for Mr. El Amin, but my understanding is he is
All right.
now representing him, so I think we can be ready on that one.
All right.
We
let me
are
go
all
and
set on
grab-
that, Your Honor. That's correct.
All right, so we're on the record in docket, and I do have a substitution of counsel in our file.
Okay.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01343. That's People of the State of Michigan versus Mohammed El Amin. So the parties, please introduce themselves for the record. Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Neal.
Good morning, Your Honor. Rico Neal, appearing on behalf of Mohammed El Amin, who is present via the video system.
Thank you. And sir, you are Mohammed El Amin, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. El Amin?
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
I would defer to Mr. Neal.
Mr. Neal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as indicated by counsel, I have been retained by Mr. El Amin to represent him in this matter. We did file an appearance with the substitution of attorney, which the courts indicated it does have in its possession. As of today, the court has not returned that document back to us. As such, we do not have discovery. As such, my client will waive his right to have the exam within the 21-day time frame. He has been advised of his rights. He fully understands those rights. And I would ask that this matter be rescheduled, both for PEC and the preliminary examination. The dates that was previously given of June 6th and June the 13th, if available, does work with my schedule.
All right. And Ms. Wilson, do you have any objection to adjournment for discovery purposes as Mr. Neal was just appointed in regards to this case?
No objection, Your Honor, but I did see Ms. Holden shake her head at the date, so I don't think those are available
All right.
anymore.
We'll check on the dates. We'll check on what dates are available. Mr. Neal, may I inquire of Mr. El Amin of his waiver of the 21-day rule?
Yes, you may, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. El Amin, you understand you have a right to a preliminary examination within 21 days of your date of arraignment. A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime is committed and the identity of the person who committed that crime. You are represented today by Attorney Rico Neal, who has filed a substitution of attorney and he would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's my understanding it is your wish today to waive your right to a prelim within that 21-day period. You wouldn't be waiving your right to a prelim in general. You'd just be waiving your right to a prelim within 21 days so that Mr. Neal can get full discovery and can zealously represent you at that preliminary examination. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it your wish today to waive your right to preliminary examination within that 21-day period?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And Ms. Wilson, you also waive the people's right to a prelim within 21 days?
We do, Your Honor.
All right. I find the waiver of the 21-day rule to be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made for discovery purposes and rescheduling this in order to be zealously represented by counsel. And let's see if we've got new dates for the PCC and prelim. Doesn't matter if they're not requesting. So how does the probable cause conference for the 14th at 8:30?
June 14th at 8:30 works, Your Honor.
All right. So PCC at June 14th at 8:30. And then the corresponding prelim would be June 21st at 1:30.
That works, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, so we've set the PCC for June 18th or June 14th, right? June 14th at 1:30 at 8:30. I don't know how I could mess that up even more than I did. June 14th at 8:30 and preliminary examination on June 21st at 1:30. Any questions concerning 24-01343, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Mr. O'Neill.
Your Honor, in regards to the PCC, may that be held via Zoom as well?
That can be via Zoom. The PCC can be via Zoom unless I hear differently from the parties. The prelim, of course, would be live.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Neal, on 24-01343?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Alameen, we'll see you on the June 14th date and again on June 21st. Thank you for your appearance.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too.
Looks like the people are ready for Brewer and Cummings.
All right, then that would be on Judge Buchanan's stuff.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01342. That's People of the State of Michigan versus Aaron Brewer. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Goodrich.
And Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Mr. Brewer, who is appearing over Zoom today.
All right. Let's see. And sir, you are Aaron Brewer, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you can hear me all right, Mr. Brewer?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
It's my understanding that the defense is going to be requesting that we leave the set for the exam.
So we'll leave after the PCC, it's left on for preliminary examination on May 24th at 8:30. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And is that a fair statement, Mr. Goodrich?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right. Also, following probable cause conference, we've left the preliminary examination on for May 24th at 8:30. Mr. Brewer, please keep in contact with your attorney, Mr. Goodrich. You'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th for your preliminary examination. All right, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else for the record in 24-01342, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people.
Mr. Goodrich.
Nothing from the defense.
All right, Mr. Brewer, Judge Buchanan, we'll see you next week. Thank you for your appearance today.
All right, thank you. I'm-
Miss Cummings, who's the next? So you're all set, Mr.
She
Brewer.
is Ingham.
All
Ingham
right,
video
all right.
Visit by.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 23-00092. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Katrina Cummings. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Goodrich.
And Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Ms. Cummings, who is appearing over Polycom from the Ingham County Jail today.
And ma'am, you are Katrina Cummings, is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Ms. Cummings?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
It's my understanding that the defendant is going to be entering a plea. The last offer that was extended, that it's my understanding the defendant is going to accept, was to reduce charges to use.
That is correct.
So we will do a added count to.
Oh,
Mr. Nagel.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, if we could just confirm that the defendant is waiving her right to enter her plea before the sentencing judge, since this is a judgment.
Correct. Before you take, and I'll make that a part of the rights as we go through. My understanding of the plea agreement is a plea to the 1 year and or $1,000. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And with a plea to count 2 and successful sentencing, count 1 will be dismissed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And is that a fair statement, Mr. Goodrich?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And Mr. Goodrich, you have an understanding. I am taking the plea as a fill-in counsel for Judge Buchanan. Judge Buchanan would be the actual sentencing judge. And that's confirmed and okayed by you today?
Yes, that is fine with us, Your Honor.
And by Ms. Cummings also?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, in this misdemeanor plea, Ms. Cummings, you understand, you have the potential for 1 year, potential or consequences are 1 year in the county jail and or $1,000. Do you understand that, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right. You have some rights in this misdemeanor case, and I'll walk you through those rights. All right, ma'am?
All right.
All right. You have the right to be tried by a jury, to be presumed innocent until proven guilty, to have the prosecutor prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you are guilty, to have the witnesses against you appear at trial, to question any witnesses that are brought against you. You, of course, are represented by Attorney Luke Goodrich, and you would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. You have the right to have the court order any witnesses appear in your defense, to remain silent during the trial, not to have that silence used against you, and to testify at trial if you choose to testify. If your plea is accepted, you'll give up the claim the plea was a result of any promises other than what's already been stated on the record or threats that it was not your choice to plead guilty. You're also giving up the right to appeal anything from trial. Since you won't be having a trial today, you'll be pleading guilty instead. It is at your wish today to plead guilty to the count 2 of use of cocaine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right, I'm going to bring your attention back to August 20th of 2022 at the offense location in the city of Lansing, Ingham County. Were you in the city of Lansing, Ingham County on August 20th, 2022?
I was.
And at that time, did you use a controlled substance? Is it okay.
Crack cocaine. I
Okay.
believe.
Did you use did you use the controlled substance of crack cocaine?
I did, sir.
All right, and you knew it was crack cocaine when you used it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything towards a factual basis, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people.
Anything towards a factual basis, Mr. Goodrich?
No, Your Honor.
I find the factual basis to be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made. I'm going to refer to probation. So, Ms. Cummings, you'll be contacted by probation. They'll do a report that'll be available for Judge Buchanan. And they'll see what options are available to you at sentencing. All right, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Great. Do we have a sentencing date for Judge Buchanan?
July 8th at 8:30.
Sentencing date will be July 8th at 8:30. So please be candid with the probation department, and you'll see what options are available for Judge Buchanan at the sentencing date of July 8th. All right, ma'am?
Okay.
Anything else concerning 23-00092, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people.
Mr. Goodrich?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to address bond in this matter.
All right.
To give the court a little background information, because obviously I know this isn't your case. Ms. Cummings had 3 felony cases that she got picked up on that occurred over the course of a couple of years. There was a global plea offer in Ingham County whereby she would plead to misdemeanors in each of those 3 files. Today is the 3rd and final of those 3 files. The other 2 matters are now at PR bond status. We were asking the court to give her a PR bond on this status with the understanding not that she would be released today, but that she would actually be sent to Eaton County, where she a week ago was arraigned on a matter there too. She currently has a $5,000 cash or surety bond there. Once she is in Eaton County, my office, through one of our social workers and her attorney in Eaton County are working on getting her placed into a residential treatment facility. That was something that they would work out with Judge O'Neill once she gets the holds lifted from Ingham County.
Okay.
So we're asking for a PR bond for those purposes, Your Honor.
And at the time, at least at the time of the pretrial report, which was April 26th, she was on a no bond hold out of Eaton County, and that was Judge O'Neill's bond.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Nagel, any comment on the reduction of bond?
We'll defer to the court, Your Honor, but I have no objection.
All right. Without objection, I believe that there is a no bond hold out of Eaton County, and they can't address whatever they need to address without a PR bond from this county. There does seem to be a substantial criminal history here, but the steps in Eaton County, at least in that district court, seem to be in the right direction. So I will, for the purposes of treatment pursuant to the no bond hold in district court in Eaton County under Judge O'Neill, I'll authorize a PR bond at $1,000. All right. I will also indicate for the record that this is a nonviolent offense. Anything else for the record in 23-00092, Mr. Goodrich?
No, Your Honor.
All right. With that understanding, you should be back here on July 8th at 8:30. Ms. Cummings, you should be all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Goodrich.
All right, this is Johnson. So we're on the record in dockets 24-01337. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Keith Johnson. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson from people.
Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Robert Palmer, the Public Defender's Office, on behalf of Mr. Keith Johnson, who was on Zoom earlier, but I don't see him there at the moment.
I told him to leave. I told him to be left out.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Apparently he was told he could leave and he was being left on, which is all accurate. And I will say that I've had multiple contacts with Mr. Johnson.
Right. And so we're just leaving on. So this will be at this PC. We're going to leave on for prelim on May 24th at 8:30. And you don't have any objection to waiving the appearance, Ms. Wilson,
I do
since he
not.
was here and then,
Correct.
and we told him it was okay. Leave on for prelim on May 24th at 8:30. Right, anything else for the record? So this is left on for prelim on May 24th at 8:30. Anything else for the record in docket 24-01337, Ms. Wilson?
That's the people.
Mr. Palmer. All right, thank you.
Judge, could we by any chance do Logan Cripe? He's on Judge Buchanan's docket. We're leaving that set on. I saw him pop up as well.
So that's that's Keith Johnson. Let's go ahead and do Mr. Cripe.
There he is.
All right, and that's on Judge Buchanan while we. Well, we have you standing here
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Cripe's right here.
Right.
All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01365. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Logan Cripe. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Matt Nagel for the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Palmer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Robert Palmer, the Public Defender's Office, on behalf of Mr. Cripe, who appears today via Zoom. I can see him on the screen.
And sir, you are Logan Cripe, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Cripe?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
It's my understanding that we are going to be leaving this set for the preliminary exam, which I believe is currently set for May 24th at 8:30.
Correct. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Palmer?
Fair statement, Your Honor, and I've had good contact with Mr. Cripe, so I have no concerns about his appearance.
All right. So we will leave this on for May 24th at 8:30. This will be in front of Judge Buchanan next week. Anything else for the record in 24-01365, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Palmer.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Cripe, you're all set today. Judge Buchanan will see you next week on May 24th at 8:30. All right, sir?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eddie Zane's supposed to be here on
Oh,
something,
yup.
and he said to pop in and tell them to continue to exam next week.
Okay, that's good.
They-
Yeah.
anything from me?
Nope, I think we'll be fine. We're just gonna leave Gober on.
Okay. How are you, Mr. Morley?
Good, Judge. Mr. Zane's running late. He asked me to pop in.
All right, so let's do this. We'll just leave on Mr.
Yep.
Gober.
Mhm.
You need anything else from me?
No, I think you're all,
Thanks, Judge. Enjoy your weekend.
You too. What's that?
We signed the substitution.
Oh, please. Let's see. Sir, in the Ingham County Jail Post, could you please identify yourself?
Tyler Smith.
You'll have to say that again, sir.
Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith. So that's Judge Buchanan's Tyler Smith.
And I believe Ms. Robinson just told Mr. Nagel she's ready on it.
All right.
I believe this is going to be for Maurice Smith. Now.
Oh, Maurice Smith? Oh, I don't think that's what he said.
Is it Tyler Smith? Who's in custody on Judge Buchanan?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mr.
I know who
Freeman,
he
is that your client?
I have two clients, Your Honor, Mr. Hout and a Mr. Medina, and for both of those, we just simply like the matter continued on to preliminary examination.
All right. I also have you on a Tyler Smith.
I'm sorry.
I also have you on Tyler Smith, who's in custody.
I'm happy to address that, but
Let me make sure I got the right Tyler Smith.
it's not on my calendar.
Yeah. So, Mr. Smith, you're here for your PCC today. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's in front of Judge Buchanan?
Yes.
All right. So that, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yes,
So-
I recall.
right. So how,
That'll be an exam too.
all right. So you want to just call all three of those?
We can, yes, Your Honor.
All right. Let's start with Mr. They got Freeman. It's in the other room. All right. Mr. Smith, we're going to put your case on the record in a second. In the other Ingham County Jail Post, could you please identify yourself, sir?
Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
Is there any other post?
No, I didn't.
These two, you're just leaving them on.
Yeah. I think your case is.
Is that,
No, they're gonna go to circuit court. They're gonna do somebody else's case. But- Oh, for next week, yes.
Really?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, no.
Schroeder thought he might be Mr. Rangel.
in the other Ingham County Jail Post, with the table in front of you, the round table, could you identify yourself, please?
My name is Joseph Lenny.
Okay, cool.
Say it again.
Joseph Lenny.
Oh,
That
we
might
just
be
got a
Joseph
competency report about him. So I don't remember if it was set for today.
Joseph Leany.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's set. It is it?
That's
Okay.
set for today.
We had no other time scheduled.
That's mine
That's
too.
fine. I just,
All right,
I
so
didn't look
that-
at the notice to appear.
All right, Mr. Leany, we'll be with you in just a second. Let's go ahead and call Mr. Smith, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
So Mr. Tyler Smith is here. That's Judge Buchanan. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00700. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Tyler Smith. This came out. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00700. Appearances for the record, Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr.
Order, Your
Freeman.
Honor, Stephen A. Freeman, Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Smith.
And sir, you are Tyler Smith, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can hear me all right, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding? It's my understanding from counsel's representations, we're just leaving this on.
That's my understanding as well, Your Honor.
All right. PCC is held and will leave on for May 24th at 2:30. All right, Mr. Smith, your preliminary examination will be held next week in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th at 2:30. And your attorney, Mr. Freeman, will be out to see you in order to get ready for that preliminary examination. All right, sir? All right, anything else for the record in 24-00700, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Freeman?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Smith, Judge Buchanan, we'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Then who's next?
I guess while we have Mr. Freeman up here, do we want to do Mr. Leany?
Sure. I thought Mr. Freeman had another one too.
So did he do.
Yeah, but let's do Mr. Leany. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00694. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Joseph Leany. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Freeman.
Stephen A. Freeman, Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Leany.
And sir, you are Joseph Leany, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can hear me all right, Mr. Leany?
Yes, I can hear you right.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a competency review. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
I believe we are going to be stipulating to the findings.
All right, is that a fair statement, Mr. Freeman?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense is prepared to stipulate to the report. We've received a copy of that. It appears as though the gentleman is at the present time not competent, but the examiner is confident that he could be rehabilitated to regain competency, and that's what we would ask the court to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I am in possession of the report. I've had the opportunity to review it. And based on comments by both counsel, I will accept the report and its findings. And at this time, the defendant is incompetent to stand trial, but is restorable at this time. And so I'll indicate for the record that the competency hearing was held. And a report was agreed upon. And order signed. I will sign the order, which has box 2 checked to that effect. And then this is one of my cases, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So let's set it 30 days out, 60 days out.
I think 60 probably.
60
Yeah.
days out, just so we don't lose track of it,
No.
but we understand. So 60 days out for review. August 1st at 8:30 for review for this file. Anything else for the record in docket 24-00694, Ms. Wilson?
People.
Mr. Freeman?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Leany, you're all set today. Your case will be re-reviewed in the next couple months. All right. You're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Morning, Your Honor.
What? All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01335. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Nelson Howe. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Freeman.
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen A. Freeman, Public Defender, on behalf of Mr. Houck, who stands to my right.
Sir, you are Nelson Houck, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
It's my understanding that the parties intend to leave the exam currently set for May 24th at 8:30 a.m.
And that's a fair statement, Mr. Freeman.
It is, Your Honor.
All right. So at the probable cause conference, we've left the preliminary examination on for May 24th at 8:30. So Mr. Houck, you will be in front of Judge Buchanan next week at 8:30. All right, sir. Anything else for the record in 24-01335, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Freeman.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are still ready to go on Maurice Smith.
All right. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01338. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Maurice Smith. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Ms. Robinson.
Karen Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Smith.
And sir, you are Maurice Smith, is that correct? Yes, sir. All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
Your Honor, this matter is currently set for a preliminary exam on May 24th at 8:30 a.m. It's my understanding the parties intend to leave that matter set.
That's a fair statement, Ms. Robinson.
It is, Your Honor.
So we'll leave on for preliminary examination in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th at 8:30. Having held a probable cause conference, anything else for the record in 24-01-338, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Smith, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan next week. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thanks.
So this is, oh, Ms. Wilson, we do have some people on. So sir, on that, with the square table on, would you please identify yourself in the Ingham County Post?
William Smith.
William Smith?
William Lafayette Smith, yes.
All right. And then sir, with the round table, would you please identify yourself in the Ingham County Post?
Christopher Lavoie.
Christopher Lavoie, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, thank you. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01-361. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Travis Stockenauer. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
And sir, you're on behalf of Mr. Stockenauer, Mr. Culpepper?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Stockenauer is present, and you are Travis Stockenauer, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And you can hear me all right, Mr. Stockenauer?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
I have not had an opportunity to communicate with the defense attorney. It's my understanding Mr. Culpepper had only just recently agreed to represent Mr. Stockenauer. So I don't know what the defense attorney.
All right, so Mr. Culpepper, either you're requesting an adjournment or you're leaving it on for next week. What is your preference today, Mr. Culpepper?
Well, I'd leave it on for next week if they can get me some discovery relatively
All
quickly.
right, well, I'm uncertain if they'll have discovery in a week, but we can leave it on.
I can make sure that discovery gets transferred as soon as possible, but I have no problem leaving it.
All right. All right. So Mr. Culpepper, the APA has indicated, Mr. Nagel's indicated that he's going to provide discovery as soon as possible, and then it'll be left on for next week at this time. Is that your wish?
That's fine. I'm noticing that everything's set for 8:30. Coming from Detroit, I would appreciate it if I could be put on for like 10 or 10:30. But I mean, I guess it doesn't make any difference because you're not going to be able to do all.
I certainly understand that. I just don't know I don't know Judge Buchanan's schedule.
I wish I could,
Yeah,
I wish I could be of help on that. matter.
right.
Since I've noticed 6 cases being put on for 8:30, I don't think they're gonna make it.
All right. I've got it scheduled right now by the arraigning judge for Judge Buchanan at 9. So.
All right.
So I'm going to indicate for the
Thank
record
you.
that the probable cause conference was held, and it's going to be left on for preliminary examination for May 24th at 9 a.m. And then Mr. Nagel will make sure that discovery or any paperwork is provided to you, sir. All right, sir? Anything else for the record in 24? Anything else for the record in 24-01361, Mr. Nagel?
No, Your Honor.
People, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Culpepper. Mr. Stockenauer, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan next week. That'll be live on May 24th at 9 a.m. All right, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's people of the state of Michigan versus Carl Castano. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Wicks.
Taylor Wicks, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Castano.
And sir, you are Carl Castano, is that correct?
Sir.
All right, thank you. This is time set for a probation violation. Ms. Wilson, how we proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding this is going to be a police violations.
All right.
It is correct, Your Honor.
Since we're working from the same, to make sure. That would be violations from April 9th. Is that correct, Ms. Wicks?
Yes.
All right. All right. So it's my understanding in a request and summons for probation violation from Jody Bayless on April 9th. It is alleged that you technically violated your probation in the following manner. You understand you have a right to a hearing in this matter. You are represented today by Attorney Taylor Wicks. She would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. Do you understand that, sir? It's my understanding it is your wish today to plead responsible to the allegations of violation of probation. Is that correct? All right. You need to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
In regards to, it's listed as 6, but we'll treat it as 1. There's an indication that you failed to pay fines and costs. Your last payment was January 3rd of 2024, and you have an outstanding balance of $400. Do you admit responsibility to that allegation?
Yes.
All right. There's an allegation that you failed to test for AbraHealth and you failed to test on March 19th, 2024. Do you admit to that allegation?
Yes.
There's an allegation that per cognitive consultants, you were suspended from intensive TV program. Last session attended was February 6, 2024, and you were suspended for payment and lack of attendance. How do you admit to that?
Yes.
I find the admissions to the probation violations be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made. And you've had the opportunity to see the recommendation, Ms. Wicks?
I have.
Allocution.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's my understanding from talking to Mr. Castano that he is about to come into a relatively large lump sum of money, which means that he could start his classes again and he could start testing again as he did, to my understanding from reading notes both in the file and from Ms. Bayless, had lost his job. And that this purely comes down to financial reasoning, Your Honor. This isn't a willful disregard of anything for Mr. Castano. It is just that he's struggling financially to get by. However, it's my understanding that less than a month from now, he will have come into a lump sum of money. He would like to continue on probation and get the treatment that the court has ordered. So I would be asking that he be allowed to continue on probation. He should be able to finish by the current probation end date in October. If not, Your Honor, I would ask that you relatively follow the recommendations of probation and just terminate Mr. Castano from probation and refer his file to collections, as even Ms. Bayless isn't asking for really jail time in this case. And so I would ask that the court, he is asking for the chance to continue, but otherwise following the recommendation.
Do you know how much time does Mr. Castano have in on this case?
I will look, Your Honor.
88, no, it was 7 days from 90, so.
Sounds about right. I have that.
8 days credit as of 1. And I did not show it. It's not.
7 days. But I'm just not I'm having trouble, Ms. Wicks, with whether probation is working here. Now, Mr. Castano, back to July, he's violated. And this is, so we have admissions on July 18. Domestic violence case, then we have admissions today, which is almost 10 months later. I'm just not certain probation's working for you, sir. And so I guess I don't know if extending probation is the answer. But I don't know if 7 days is the answer either.
Yeah,
Ms. Wilson?
If I may, in reviewing the report, it doesn't appear that this is strictly financial. The allegations are that he's not paying for classes, but also that he's not showing up. And that's greatly concerning. Looking at his prior history, he does have 2 prior domestic violence convictions. So the fact that he's not participating in treatment, he's not taking responsibility, he's violating his probation is incredibly concerning to the people. So I think a jail term is appropriate here. He's clearly not suitable for probation. That's been made clear. So I think there needs to be some amount of accountability here. And I think some time in jail is appropriate.
Ms. Wicks?
Your Honor, the failures to appear are, one, because of the lack of payment. They are not allowed in once they are so many weeks behind. And so it is the financial thing that causes the non-appearance. It is not strictly a non-appearance. It is a financial issue that they will not let anybody more than, it's my understanding, 2 weeks at cognitive consultants behind into any classes.
This is the third. This is a DV third technically.
It could have been, yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think probation's working out for you. All right. I'm going to sentence. So the sentence of the court concerning the probation violations, and I'll say the second round of probation violations, as you previously admitted in July 18th, the court will sentence you to 30 days in jail with credit for time for 7 days served. Credit for 7 days served.
No.
And I'll refer the rest of the matter to collections. Elections, any additional amount? Which I've got the current balance at $400. Is that correct?
Your Honor, if you are terminating Mr. Castano's probation,
am.
I would ask that oversight for the months he would not remain on probation be waived, as he would not be.
I agree.
Thank you.
So we'll terminate probation and any oversight costs are waived. Mr. Castano, probation has just not worked out for you today. So for your good fortune, you can pay off whatever collections is out. And I must tell you, if this happens again, it's going to be a felony, and you're going up to circuit court. Okay, depending on what happens. But just understand that. Good luck to you, sir. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Mhm. No. Yep. Nope.
You're totally fine.
And then, Your Honor, if whenever the court's ready, if we want to do Alvarez, that's just going to be a request for a warrant. She is not here.
All right. Let's do. Is that?
That's a probation violation. That is a U file. It's a Flores file.
It is. I'm just trying to find it.
I believe it's at 8:30, Your Honor.
Oh, it's the very first one. All right. I had the wrong file, put a line through. So, all right. So let's go on the record in docket 23-02755. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Toriana Alvarez. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson, for the people.
Ms. Wicks.
Taylor Wicks, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Ms. Alvarez.
This is the time set for a probation violation hearing. Ms. Wilson, how we proceed?
Thank you, Your Honor. This was set for 8:30. It is now 9:42. Ms. Alvarez is not here. This is a probation violation. The underlying charge is technically an assaultive offense, so I would be requesting an immediate bench for it.
Ms. Wilson. I'm sorry, Ms. Wicks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have reached out to Ms. Alvarez. I have not heard back. I cannot explain her non-appearance here this morning.
All right. Thank you. At this time, based on, as counsel indicated, this was scheduled for 8:30. It's now 9:42. It appears the defendants failed to appear for the probation violation hearing. I don't see a Ms. Alvarez in the Zoom courtroom or the physical courtroom. So based on the representations of counsel, I'll issue a bench warrant for her non-appearance. I would indicate that this is portions of this start out is it an assaultive crime, and so I'll make that an immediate bench warrant. Anything else for the record in 23-02755, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Ms. Wicks?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We want to do,
I think
William Smith is in the jail.
What's that? Oh, I like that.
Second, okay.
All right, Mr. Smith, we're ready to call your case. We're on the record in docket 24-01360. That's People of the State of Michigan versus William Smith. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson, for the people.
Mr. Doyle.
Morning, Your Honor. Dan Doyle, P-73181, appearing on behalf of Mr. Smith.
And sir, you are William Smith, is that correct? That was Mr. Smith. And sir, you are William Lafayette Smith?
Oh, he's not on screen. Never mind.
Oh, he's not. Sir, with the square table in the Ingham County Jail, could you identify yourself? Yeah, what's your name?
Andre Kelly.
Andre Kelly.
That's Buchanan case, Your Honor.
All right. That's a Mr. Palmer case. Mr. Smith is yet to come in to join us.
He's in custody, so it
He's
should
in
be on
custody.
public
It's just a
comment
matter
some
of,
point.
just a
Right.
matter of
So-
getting,
Let's do somebody that's in
Well,
the jail.
since we have Mr. Doyle here, Your Honor,
Yep.
he and I have Mr.
David?
David together. We're ready to go on that one.
all right. And then let's see if we can move somebody from the jail to see if we
Yeah.
can. All right. All right, so we're gonna call a different case and see if we can get Mr. Doyle's other client. So we're on the record in docket 24-01364. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Timothy David. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel,
Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Doyle.
Morning, Your Honor. Dan Doyle appearing on behalf of Mr. David, who is present standing to my right.
And sir, you are Timothy David, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how we proceed?
Your Honor, this is currently set for a preliminary exam on May 24th. It's my understanding, after talking to the defense, that we are going to be leaving it set with a potential motion to come, but that is still to be determined.
All right, and that's a fair statement, Mr. Doyle.
It is, Your Honor. Thanks.
All right, so we will leave on for preliminary examination on May 24th next week in front of Judge Buchanan. And then you indicate that there may be a motion filed in this case. Anything else for the record in docket 24-01364, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Doyle.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Mr. David, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th. Thank you for your appearance today.
What time?
It will be 9, I think. 9 o'clock.
Your Honor, can I just call the next case? Is Mr. Foley still on the scene?
Yes.
Okay, just Mr. Kittle is here.
All right, let's go ahead and call that case. That was Mr. David. Kittle. That's Mr. Foldy.
That is a Foley case, Your Honor.
All right.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Foldy. How are you?
I'm doing well.
All right, thank you. Did you say Mr. Kittle's here? You can come up.
He is not.
All right. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01341. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Skeeter Kittle. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Foldy.
Jeffrey Foldy on behalf of Mr. Kittle, who is not here. For the record, we have reached out to him to 2 telephone numbers provided to us by the Public Defender's Office, as well as an email. My secretary or myself have not got a return phone call or a reply
All right.
email. And
Mr. Foldy, Mr. Kittle did appear today. He's right here. Okay, so he did appear live in person.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. So we're all good. Sir, you are Skeeter Kittle, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a preliminary probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding today?
I believe it's going to be our intention to leave this set for the exam. An offer has been communicated to the defense attorney. I'm sure that they'll discuss that and we'll decide what we're doing on the day.
All right. So Mr. Foldy, with Mr. Kittle here is live. It's my understanding this is going to be left on for preliminary examination. That'll give yourself some time to talk to Mr. Kittle in order to adequately prepare for the preliminary examination.
That's correct, Your Honor. Could Mr. Kittle give us a good contact number?
Yes. Do you have a good contact attorney number for Mr. Foldy?
Yeah, 517-898-1289. You can reach me after 6 o'clock. I'm hoping to get my phone back from the police department. They took it and life pretty much went to with the toss up.
All right. So we'll leave on for preliminary examination on May 24th at 8:30. Mr. Kittle, please keep in contact with Mr. Foldy, your attorney now. Provide him with any information he needs. And we'll leave on for prelim on May 24th at 8:30 at this probable cause conference. Anything else for the record in 24-01-341, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Foldy?
No, sir.
Okay, you're all set. Mr. Kittle, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th at 8:30. All right, sir?
Can I get his number?
Mr. Foldy, did you want to provide your client with the phone number in order to contact you? He's requesting your number.
Yes, I'm going to
Or
give
you
him my
can just
direct cell.
Okay, so the
989
989
906
906
6222.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Everybody will be in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th. Thank you for your appearance today, Mr. Foldy.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Kelly, we're ready to call your case. We're on the record in 24-01-367. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Andre Kelly. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Palmer.
Hey, good morning, Your Honor. Robert Palmer of the Public Defender's Office. On behalf of Mr. Andre Kelly, I should make a statement here because I think Mr. Kelly is confused and Mr. Milks is walking in. This was originally assigned to me because of some scheduling issues I had at the time. It was reassigned to Mr. Milks. It appears that an amended appearance has not made its way over to the court yet because it still has my name on it. But I have not actually met with Mr. Kelly. Mr. Milks has, and now that he's here, maybe he should stand in and advise the court further, but it is going to be Mr. Milks.
All right, and Mr. Milks, you can come in here so Mr. Kelly can see you. All right, there you go. All right. Mr. Milks, your appearance for the record.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Stephen Milks on behalf of Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly appearing via PCC from the Eaton County Jail.
All right, and sir, you are Andre Kelly, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
It is my understanding that this is currently set for a preliminary exam on May 24th, Your Honor. I have not had an opportunity to communicate with defense counsel yet, so it looks like we're
just leaving it on for now.
Yes, Your Honor, that is complete and accurate. We would like to leave it on for exam at this time.
All right, so we will continue at the probable cause conference. We'll continue the prelim left on for May 24th at 8:30. I'm sorry, at 9:30.
And that's going to be in person, right?
And that will be in person, sir. You'll be brought over for that, all right?
Yes,
all right. That'll be in front of Judge Buchanan on May 24th at 9:30. Anything else for the record in 24-01-367, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Milks.
Nothing from the defense. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Kelly, you'll be in front of Judge Buchanan next week. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Lavoy, we're ready to call your case. We're on the record in docket 23-03530. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Christopher Lavoy. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson,
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Robinson.
Karen Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Lavoy.
And sir, you are Christopher Lavoy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Lavoy?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference, PCC. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think we're gonna leave the set.
And is that a fair statement, Ms. Robinson?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. So at the probable cause conference, we'll leave the preliminary examination set for May 24th at 9:30. So Mr. Lavoy, we've set this on for next week in front of myself for May 24th at 9:30. Anything else for the record in 23-03-530, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Ms. Robinson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Lavoy, I'll see you next week on May 24th. Thank you for your appearance today.
You.
All right, Mr. Bruin, we're ready to go on your case with Mr. Revelar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So we're on the record in docket 24-01390. That is People of the State of Michigan versus Mario Revelar. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Bruin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tiffany DeBruin on behalf of Mario Revelar, who is currently, we are both appearing via Zoom and would waive in-person appearance.
All right, thank you. And sir, you are Mario Revelar, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you can hear me all right, Mr. Revelar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have been in contact with Ms. DeBrun a bit, and it's my understanding that she has a conflict with the exam next week. She's also just recently filed an appearance, so I don't think we've had the opportunity to get discovery over to her yet. So it's my understanding that the defendant's willing to waive his 21 days today, and we would ask for this to be reset.
And is that a fair statement, Mr. Bruin?
It is, Your Honor.
May I inquire of your client of his waiver of the 21-day rule?
Yes, Judge.
So, Mr. Revelar, you understand you have a right to a preliminary examination within 21 days of your date of arraignment. A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime is committed and the identity of the person who committed that crime. You, of course, are represented today by attorney Tiffany DeBruin, and she would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's my understanding it is your wish today to waive your right to a preliminary examination only within that 21-day period. You will not be waiving your right to a prelim in general, only within that 21-day period. So discovery can be provided to Mr. Bruin, and she has a conflict for next week due to trial scheduling, so that she can adequately prepare and zealously represent you at the preliminary examination. Is it your wish today to waive your right to a prelim within 21 days and have this adjourned outside of that time period?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And do the people also waive their right to a prelim within 21 days?
We do, Your Honor.
I find the waiver of the 21-day rule to be knowing, voluntarily, and accurately made. And then, Mr. Bruin, I'm going to give you some dates, and you can see which one works for your schedule.
Yes, Judge.
So the first date we have, and do you want another prelim or a PCC? That'd be a prelim, right?
I think a prelim.
I agree, Judge.
June 7th at 1:30, Mr. Bruin?
That would work for me.
All right. So we'll schedule it for June 7th at 1:30. We'll make sure discovery is provided by the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office, and that will put us past the conflict. Anything else for the record in 24-01390, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Mr. Bruin?
Not from the defense, Judge.
All right, thank you. So we'll see you on June 7th at 1:30. Mr. Revelar, thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sir, on the Samsung, can you identify yourself? You're on the cell phone. Could you identify yourself? On the Samsung SM-G, can you identify yourself? I don't know who that is.
Is there a phone number ending in 90? Here over Zoom, so she's a little tech challenged.
As we all are. So Catherine.
That's Buchanan.
Ma'am, are you Catherine Leak? Oh, they're not connected to audio. That's why they can't hear me. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01371. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Cherry L. Poe. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms.
Melanie
Munch.
Aguanchi for Mr. Paul.
And sir, you are Cherry Poe, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This is time set for a probable cause conference. Ms. Wilson, how we should proceed.
I would defer.
Ms.
I'm
Wanchi.
going to leave it for next week, Your Honor.
PCC was held and we'll leave on for preliminary examination for May 24th at 9:30. So, Mr. Poe, please keep in contact with your attorney, Ms. Wanji. You'll be back here on May 24th at 9:30 next week for your preliminary examination. All right, sir?
Thank you.
Anything else for the record in 24-01371, Ms. Wilson?
Half of the people.
Ms. Wanji?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. We should be all set on that case. Samsung is here. Let's admit that. She's still not connected. You do have. All right, sir, you're William Smith, is that correct? All right, thank you. So we're on the record in docket 24-01360. That's people of the state of Michigan versus William Smith. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Once again, Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Mr. Doyle.
Dan Doyle on behalf of Mr. Smith.
And sir, you are William Smith, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding?
I think, Your Honor, Mr. Doyle did just submit a substitution of appearance. Once we get a copy of that, we'll send discovery over. I think for now, we're gonna leave this set for exam, and if that changes, I'm sure Mr. Doyle will be in contact ahead of time.
So we'll leave on for preliminary examination at this time for May 24th
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
at 9 a.m.
Your Honor, if we may, actually, Mr. Doyle's gonna be requesting an adjournment so he can get that discovery.
All right. So there's a request for an adjournment by the defense. And Mr. Doyle, is Mr. Smith prepared to waive his 21 days? Okay. So a request for an adjournment for discovery purposes. And Mr. Doyle may inquire of Mr. Smith of his waiver of his 21-day rule.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, you understand you have a right to a preliminary examination within 21 days of your date of arraignment. A preliminary examination is a probable cause hearing in which the people would have to prove by probable cause evidence that a crime is committed and the identity of the person who committed that crime. You are represented today by Attorney Dan Doyle, and he would be present to cross-examine any witnesses or contest any charges brought against you by the people of the state of Michigan. It's my understanding it is a request to adjourn this matter past that 21-day period in order for your attorney to get full discovery so he can zealously represent you at the next preliminary examination hearing. So if you waive your right today, you'd only be waiving your right to a prelim within 21 days. You would not be waiving your right to a prelim in general, just within that 21-day period to give your attorney time to receive discovery and zealously represent you in your defense. Is it your wish today to waive your right to a prelim within that 21-day period?
Yes, Your Honor,
all right, Ms. Wilson, you also waive the people's right to a prelim within 21 days?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. The 21-day rule is waived by the defendant. And we will reset it. Mr. Doyle, I know your schedule's busy. Are you looking for 2 to 3 weeks? Are we looking outside that? All right.
June 7th at 1:30.
So how does June 7th at 1:30?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So June 7th at 1:30. So we reset the preliminary examination for June 7th at 1:30 in order to provide discovery to your attorney. Anything else for the record in 24-01360, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Mr. Doyle?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Mr. Smith, we'll see you on that June 7th date. Thank you for your appearance today.
Yes, sir.
She's still. Sure.
I was monitoring cannons.
Admit everybody. And then I'm gonna make you. Yeah.
Your Honor, if you would be willing to count this as Ms. Leek's appearance, we are just going to be asking the matter be left set.
All right. Is that Ms. Leek?
I know Ms. Leek to be a 69-year-old African-American woman.
Let me see if I can, I'm gonna make Wendy a co-host and let's see if we can, but I will accept this as an appearance because she's here. She just can't hear anything.
50 minutes ago.
Was Pringle removed from the Polycom because of the petition?
Yes.
Okay.
Docket 24-01379. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Catherine Leek. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Mr. Goodrich.
Attorney Luke Goodrich from the Public Defender's Office here to represent Ms. Leek, who is appearing over Zoom today.
Right, and I do see Ms. Leek we're having some technical difficulties, but we do believe that she is here and she's appeared in spite of those technical difficulties. This is the probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how we proceed?
It's my understanding that we are going to be leaving this set for the preliminary exam, currently scheduled for May 24th, Your Honor.
All right, is that a fair statement, Mr. Goodrich?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, so we will let Mr. Goodrich be in line to leave on. We can also send her a chat saying it's left on for May 24th at 9:30, but with the understanding that her appearance was indicated here. She's doing exactly what I do, which is put your ear up because you can't hear, and it's really because she's not connected to audio. But I'm fully aware that that's a thing.
And Your Honor, I would state that she was planning to appear in person, but wasn't feeling well today. So
yeah, I'm perfectly happy with we'll leave it on for May 24th at 9:30 and allow Mr. Goodrich to contact his client. We'll send her a chat. Anything else for the record? 2401-379, Mr. Nagel.
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Goodrich.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, you should be all set. And Ms. Leek heard none of that, but she'll be okay. All right, perfect.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Goodrich.
I let Ms. Leek know that you'd be in touch with her in the chat.
Okay. Your Honor, I think.
Sir, you are Jason Komarami in the Post?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we'll call your case as soon as we find Ms. Schroeder's in another courtroom. And then, ma'am, you are Dominga Nissan, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, and we'll call that case as soon as we find Ms. Wanji, who's in another courtroom.
Thank you.
And then, Sir Michael, Mr. Sefton, what case are you here on?
Midland Credit Management versus Dorothy Moore, Your Honor.
All right. And are you representing Midland Credit Management?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
It's P1320.
All right, stand by, and I'm just seeing who we hear as we make the transition from the criminal to the civil cases. Mr.
Okay.
Brown, are you here on Douglas Bloomfield?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then let's see. Justin. Mr. Wright, you're here for your 9:30, and Melanie Wanji's your attorney, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Kamarami, we'll call your case. We're on the record in docket 2401-369. That's people of the state of Michigan versus Jason Kamarami. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Nagel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Matt Nagel for the people.
Ms. Schroeder.
Thank you, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Aaron Schroeder on behalf of Mr. Komarami. And if I messed up your name, sir, I apologize. I'm terrible.
All right, and sir, you are Jason Komarami or Kamarami, and you'll have to pronunciate that for. Is that Komarami or Kamarami? Kamarami. All right. Komarami. Thank you. This is the time set for a preliminary examination for a probable cause conference. Mr. Nagel, how are we proceeding?
I believe this is currently set for preliminary exam on May 24th, Your Honor, or without having had opportunity to communicate with defense counsel, I believe we're just going to leave that set.
Is that a fair statement, Ms. Schroeder?
It is, Your Honor. I expect that negotiations will start and continue between now and then. Thank you. I just had a chance to- Sorry.
All right, so Mr. Komarami, we have left, we've had the PCC, we've left it on for prelim on May 24th at 9:30. You'll be in front of Judge Buchanan next week on that date, and by that time, or in the meantime, you'll have the opportunity to speak with counsel in order to adequately prepare for that case. Anything else for the record in 24-01369, Mr. Nagel?
Nothing from the people.
Ms. Schroeder.
Nothing from the defense.
All right, Mr. Komarami or Mr. Kamarami, you'll set for next week in front of Judge Buchanan. All right, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, you'll be happy to hear that. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, because he's.
All right, so we're on the record in 24-01368. That's People of the State of Michigan versus Tyrese Jones. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Miss Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms.
Erin
Robinson.
Robinson, Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Jones.
This is the time set for a probable cause conference. Miss Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jones has not appeared today. These are 2 counts of a felony assault offense, so I will be requesting an immediate bench warrant and bond forfeiture.
Miss Robinson.
Your Honor, I would ask for a 48-hour hold to be issued. I believe this is his first failure to appear.
Fail to appear or PCC. Though this was scheduled for 9 o'clock, it is now 10:17. The defendants failed to appear for the PCC. There are 2 R&Os and a prior R&O on the habitual. I don't know the nature of the R&Os, but I'm seeing that there's 3 of them. I'm not going to treat them as a non-violent offense, and so I'll issue for the fail to appear. This, I will indicate there is no previous bench warrant issued, but I will issue a fail to appear for non-appearance today bench warrant. Anything else for the record in 24-01368, Miss Wilson?
Half of the people.
Miss Robinson.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. That's all set on that file.
Give him, yep.
So we're just really on Miss Swanji's cases.
That is correct.
And that's Carr and Nasinga. That's
Yes.
I think that does it for the.
all right, Mr. Nagel. We were able to move all those 5. You're welcome. Thank you for your appearance.
Thank you, and have a good weekend. Your Honor.
You too. Yes, and then I'm gonna pull up. So we're still on transition. We've got a couple of criminal cases up. I'm gonna pull up the civil cases and I'll start calling those in just a minute.
Sweet.
Miss Wanji?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we have both Miss Nesson here and Mr. Wright here. Which case would you like to go on?
Mr. White.
All right. All right, Mr. Wright, we'll call your case. You can unmute. We're on the record in docket 24-01384. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Justin Wright. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms. Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Ms. Wanji.
Good morning, Your Honor. Melanie Elbiwanji for Mr. White.
And sir, you are Justin Wright, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you can hear me all right, Mr. Wright?
Yes, I can.
All right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. Ms. Wilson, how are we proceeding today, or would you like to defer?
I would defer.
Ms. Wanji, how are we proceeding today?
We're just going to leave it on for next week, Your Honor.
All right. So at the probable cause conference, the preliminary examination is left on for May 24th at 9:30. That would be in front of myself. So Mr. Wright, you'll be live in person on May 24th at 9:30 next week. Anything else for the record in 24-01384? Ms. Wilson.
Not for the people.
Ms. Wanji.
Nothing for the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wright, you're all set. Thank you for your appearance. I'll see you next week on May 24th.
Thank you, Your Honor. Am I allowed to exit the meeting now?
You are. You can leave. You can leave today, and I'll see you next week. That'll be live in person.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, can I have a minute with my client, Ms. Nissan?
Sure. I'll have Ms. Nesson and Ms. Wanji placed in a breakout room. All right. I don't know that we created any. All right, Mr. Brown, we're ready to call that Douglas Bloomfield case.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we're on the record in docket 24-00502. That is Douglas Bloomfield versus Alexandria Martinez and Marcus Ruiz. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Brown.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Chris Brown representing plaintiff.
All right. This was scheduled for 10 o'clock. It is now 10:25. I do not see an Alexandria Martinez or Marcus Ruiz in the Zoom courtroom. I don't see anybody by that or answering to that in the physical courtroom. There's nobody by that name in the waiting room. My notes would indicate that we previously met on February 21st and all parties met in a breakout room. The defendant had moved out at the time. It looks like we set this as a new address and a control date. Is that correct, Mr. Brown?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Brown, how would you like to proceed today?
Requested that the motion be denied, Your Honor. What actually occurred then after that date is we dismissed as to the possession claim only and reserved as to money claim. We had that new address. We filed an amended complaint. We did not mail copies to the defendant. We treated that as a brand new case and had them personally served with the amended complaint. So they had personal service on March 27th. We waited our 21 days and filed a default based on the amended complaint for money damages only based upon that personal service, which got entered by the court. And then after that date, it looks like 6 or 7 days after that date, the defendants filed the so-called motion that we're here in front of the court today. So I'd ask that motion be denied.
And we just had somebody come into the court. Are you Alexandria Martinez?
Correct.
Yes.
And you are Marcus Ruiz?
Yes.
Why don't you come up here? You're about 30 minutes late.
I'm sorry. I thought it was 10:30.
All right. So it appears the plaintiffs have appeared. So I'm going to indicate their presence for the record. Ma'am, you are Alexandria Martinez, is that correct? And sir, you are Marcus Ruiz?
Yes.
All right. And you have filed a motion to set aside the eviction?
Yes.
All right. So this is your motion. Let me pull up. I'm going to pull up your motion.
Your Honor, to clarify, it's not really to set aside an eviction because we already have possession back. It's just,
correct.
I think they objected to the amended complaint after being personally served and not answering that for the money damages.
All right. So I will read the motion into the record and then you can supplement in any way you want. And then I'll have Mr. Brown respond. All right. Okay. You filed a motion today and that's why we're here. Indicating we would like to lower the fees if possible, as we knowingly did not cause all the damages listed. We would like to pay for the damages we did do. However, we would also like a court-appointed lawyer as well. If not, that we will call others numbers for legal help. It's my understanding you've already had a pretrial in this matter?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you'd like to supplement that motion with, ma'am or sir?
That's just exactly how I put it.
All right, Mr. Brown, response.
Yes, Your Honor. As I said previously, we showed up on February the 21st. They indicated that they had moved out. We actually then dismissed the possession claim on the landlord-tenant case and reserved as to a money claim. We got their brand new address that they had moved to. However, we filed an amended complaint and we didn't just mail them a copy of the new summons and complaint. We had them personally served. They were personally served on March the 27th, both of them at 12:42 p.m. We waited the statutory 21-day period as required by the court rule and then filed a default judgment for the money claim only. And it should be noted, Your Honor, that in that amended complaint, it's very detailed. And gives a tenant ledger and the whole 9 yards. But in the last sentence of the amended complaint, it reads, the security deposit of $1,425 has not been applied. as your honor knows, we're not allowed to apply that security deposit, and we have to actually file a lawsuit before we can actually apply it. So technically, the default judgment that was entered by your honor that we signed on 4/18 that your honor signed, it looks like on April the 23rd, now that we have a judgment, we can apply the actual security deposit of 1425 against that actual default judgment. So the balance is actually 1425 less. Thank you, your honor.
Thank you.
But we needed that
Is
judgment
there
prior.
All right, and my understanding, part of this motion, there's an indication, A, that you have to explain your non-appearance, and B, that you have to state a meritorious claim. I didn't see anything in the motion that would indicate a reason why there was a non-appearance.
Like from then.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were just irresponsible, didn't like literally correctly read that. I'm not really good with this. I've never been sued before, so that's all it was. And I take full responsibility of that, so that's definitely understandable.
Well, that makes it an easy decision for me, all right? So I'm gonna deny the motion, okay, based on, it does appear that there's been a reduction in the amount from Mr. Brown from the ledger, but I'm denying the motion. Based on non-appearance. And there's some question, you've had a couple pre-trials based on the meritorious claims. You had the opportunity to seek those, but so I'm denying the motion based on previous non-appearance. And then, Mr. Brown, you will file that up with an order to that effect?
Yes, your honor.
All right. I deny the motion based on the previous non-appearance and the problem with the meritorious claim at this proceeding. Mr. Brown will follow it up with an order. Anything else for the record in this file on 24-00502, Mr. Brown?
Your honor, in that order, I will indicate that we will apply the 1425 security deposit against the actual default judgment and indicate what the current balances now do as well.
All right, so you'll have that reduction with the current balance amount. Do you have any questions of me? All right, well, thank you for your appearance today. You're all set. And Mr. Brown, I'll wait the signature, okay?
Yes, thank you, your honor.
Thank you. And I'll indicate for the record you both were appeared, okay? All right. So you're all set. Thank you. We have to bring back Miss Nisanga. Or else that one. Okay. Miss Nisanga. All right, there we go. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-01378. That is people of the state of Michigan versus Domingan Hassan. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Miss Wilson.
Abigail Wilson for the people.
Miss Wanji.
Good morning, Your Honor. Melanie Biwanji for Miss Nissan.
And ma'am, you are Domingan Hassan, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Domingan Hassan.
Right, you can hear me all right? You can hear me all right, Miss Hassan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, this is the time set for a probable cause conference. Miss Wilson, how are we proceeding?
Thank you, Your Honor. I would defer to Miss Wanji.
Miss Wanji.
Good morning, Your Honor. We're going to leave on for next week.
Okay. So the preliminary examination is left on for May 24th at 9:30. So, Ms. Hassan, you'll be brought over and you'll be live in person on May 24th at 9:30 for your preliminary examination on this case. Anything else for the record in docket 24-01378, Ms. Wilson?
Not for the people.
Anything else, Ms. Wanchi?
Nothing for the defense, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Nassan, we'll see you next week at this time. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you. You guys have a blessed day. Your Honor.
You too. All right, Mr. Sefton, I can call your kid. Is there Dorothy Moore here? Dorothy Moore. All right. Right, we're on the record in docket 24-0047. I'm sorry. We're on the record in docket 24-00669. That is Midland Credit Management versus Dorothy Moore. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Sefton.
Michael W. Sefton, P 31320, Your Honor, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, this is the time set for I have it scheduled for a motion on an entering judgment. I do not see a Dorothy Moore in the Zoom courtroom. I do not see anybody by that name in the physical courtroom. I will indicate for our record that the defendant failed to appear on April 10th. And then I have it that I was awaiting an order to follow, and then we reset it. Mr. Sefton, did you want to add a record to that?
May it please the court. I believe the last time it was before the court entered the default, but then required that a motion for entry of default be set, which is now done today, stating the same facts that the court just went through for a judgment in the matter of $741.91 with court costs, which bring the total to $838.94. And I believe the court has received a copy of the entry of default judgment with that information on it.
Let's see.
Should be attached to the motion if they're their usual efficient selves.
I have an order for entry of default judgment in the amount of $834.94. Is that correct, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right.
And I do note that there should be a correction in the original thing. This is a woman, not a man. They said he did not appear. I'm pretty sure that it's not been a changed thing, so we'll just pretend that we did it correctly the first time. Anyway, in one of the paragraphs, they say he failed to appear, and it's clearly Dorothy is a woman's name, but.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, right.
I get it.
Yeah, anyway.
All right, so I will sign that order of default.
There should be a default judgment, which was also.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. So if you
Yeah,
sign.
and so I will sign that. I will sign the order of default. Once I'm gonna have to move it to a place where I can sign it.
That's fine.
So we're still learning how to do that, but I have the order and I will sign it.
All right, and then send it to the original attorney so I don't have to mess with it. Because
Yes,
as you know, we hire by the day.
Right. It'll go back to the attorney of record.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. You have a
All
blessed
right.
and a great weekend.
You too. We're all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Ms. Hoffman, you're here on H&H Mobile, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And then Ms. Zagoras, you're here on which case? Are you here on for Daniel Stefanski or Stefanski?
Yes, I'm here for Mr. Stefanski, yes.
And I'm here on the other side, Your Honor, Attorney Cezanne.
All right, and you're here for Bank of America.
Correct.
All right. All right, let me pull that case up. All right, we're on the record in docket 24-00475. That is Bank of America versus Daniel Stefanski. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Mr. Barta.
Good morning, Your Honor. Cezanne Barta, P65425 on behalf of the plaintiff.
And
Good
Ms.
morning.
Zagoras.
Diane Xagaroris on behalf of Mr. Stefanski, P32106.
All right, and sir, you are Daniel Stefanski, is that correct?
I'm not.
Okay, you're not. All right. All right. You're Mr. Little. Okay, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Mr. Barta, have you had the opportunity to talk to Ms. Zagoras concerning this matter? I always provide that as an opportunity for the attorneys to speak, or we can go right into the pretrial. It's up to you. Generally, what we do here is I allow both parties, and since you're both represented, to speak, and then you can turn in a pretrial statement, or I can fill one out for the record. It's up to you.
Your Honor, we have a great relationship on many different files. I'm pretty certain this one will take care of itself. I think I would just ask the court to fill out a pretrial order. That would be great.
All right.
That's for Your Honor. The likelihood of this being settled is extremely high.
All right. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and fill out a pretrial statement, and we can do that on the record here in regards to 24-00475. I'll indicate that this is Bank of America versus Daniel Stefanski. Pretrial conference was held on today's date. Mr. Barta was on behalf of the plaintiff. Mr. Goris was on behalf of the defendant. What were the issues involved in this complaint, Mr. Barta?
I don't believe there are any issues. However, it's just a straightforward credit card deficiency matter.
Do you anticipate, and Mr. Goris, you'd agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that.
All right. Any further pleadings do you anticipate?
Just a motion for summary disposition if we're not able to resolve.
All right. And then, Mr. Gorse, you can chime in anyway. I don't see this as a consolidation case. Is that correct?
Oh, that's correct.
And this is too early for any admissions of fact. I would also indicate it's probably too early for any exhibits.
Yes.
Discovery process, Mr. Barta, about how many days of discovery for cutoff date?
60 days is sufficient, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes, 60 days would do it.
All right. So we'll make the discovery cutoff for it to be 60 days out at? July 16th. So we set it July 16th, 2024. Too early for expert witnesses. Too early for damages. No anticipated joinder of claims. At this point in time, it's a bench trial. Is that correct, Mr. Barta?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. And the possibility of settlement is very good.
Yes.
Anything else for the pretrial statement before we scan it in, Mr. Barta? Under we have a section under other.
No, sir.
Ms. Zagoras?
Nothing from defendant, nothing.
Okay, I'm going to indicate no for case evaluation and mediation. Mr. Barta, do I have your authority to sign on your behalf?
You do, Your Honor.
And then Ms.
You
and then Ms.
certainly
Zagoras
do.
the same? All right.
You certainly do, yes.
All right, I will sign it as of today's date. And make sure it's scanned in to the system. Anything else for the record in 2400475, Mr. Barta?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Ms. Zagoras?
Nothing from defendant.
Okay, you should be all set today. The discovery is set for 60 days on July 16th, and then it'll probably be reset after that if it's not resolved already. All right, ma'am?
Thank you.
Very
All
good.
right, thank you.
Thank
You're all set. All right, so we're on the record in docket 24-00929. That is H&H Mobile versus Cayman Little. Will the parties please introduce themselves for the record? Ms.
Good morning.
Hoffman.
Oh, yes. Good morning, Your Honor. Doreen Hoffman, P42231 on behalf of plaintiff.
I'm in a little. All right, thank you. And with that, give me 1 second. It just froze up. All right, so we're back on the record in docket 24-00929. This is time set for pretrial, sir. I'm sorry, you are Cayman Little, is that correct? All right, thank you. This is the time set for a pretrial in the matter. Ms. Hoffman, have you had the opportunity to talk to Mr. Little concerning this matter? I generally, with the lawyer involved, we let the parties discuss a matter before we put the pretrial on the record. I don't know. I don't know if you've had that opportunity or not. Ms. Hoffman, I'll wait to hear from you.
We have not had a chance, Your Honor, or at least I have not had a chance to talk to Mr. Little.
Okay. Mr. Little, would you like the opportunity to speak with Ms. Hoffman concerning some of the issues that led to the filing of this complaint? The pretrial is just I just fill out a form that you just saw me do it.
Okay.
Okay. You might have the opportunity to talk to the lawyer who represents H&H Mobile in order to see what this is about, or
I mean, I know what it's about. I just don't know if I really have a case, and I don't think they would be the ones to tell me whether I do or don't.
I can't answer that. Right. I mean, they obviously have a client, and so, yeah. But they're looking to resolve this in an expedient fashion.
Yeah.
you could talk, listen to what they have to say without committing to anything. And we're also going to put anything that's back on the record. We're going to put it back on the record. I don't know what would be if you wanted to do that, or I can just fill out the pretrial statement. I'm assuming, Ms. Hoffman, this would be set for discovery out for some period of time, and then we'd go from there.
Exactly, Your Honor. He claims that he wasn't in ownership of the car when it was impounded, but every record that we have in the Michigan Department of Secretary of State shows that he was a titled owner, and there was a secured party on it. So the secured party that he took the loan out with was never released either. So he'd have to show us documents, and we would ask for that in discovery.
All right. So so you understand the nature of the discovery that they're looking for?
The nature of what?
The nature of the documents they'd be looking for. Do you want to tell them that, Ms. Hoffman, before we go back on the record?
Yeah, he would have to show us proof of any transfer. He claims he sold this to Sundance, which I believe is a dealership in the Grand Ledge area, but we have no documentation of that. He hasn't provided that. He hasn't shown proof of the lease of the first or the security interest on the car. We're looking for documents that show, in fact, that he was not the title owner.
I did go to Sundance, but I did not get to trade it into them. The salesman knew a person that he would sell it to.
Right.
So I have a bill of sale that he wrote me.
Right. So anything you'd have, you probably need to turn over. Let's just go ahead and do the pre-trial, and then we'll work from there.
Okay.
All right. All right. So this is for case number 24-00929. And that would be H&H Mobile versus Cayman Little. At the pretrial conference was Doreen Hoffman. For the plaintiff and Cayman Little. For the defense. The issues in this case are the collection on the vehicle. Is that correct?
Yeah, the impound and towing and storage fees. Yes.
Do you anticipate any additional pleadings, Ms. Hoffman, a motion for summary disposition or anything along those lines?
We would anticipate a motion for summary, Your Honor.
And then Mr. Kamen, just procedurally, feel free to ask any questions. They may do a legal motion for summary disposition, which would mean that legally they're entitled to some type of resolution. That's all anticipatory until we set the discovery date and you know exactly what they need in order. What they've done is they filed a claim against you. And so you'll get what documentation they need to see if it's a valid claim. Okay. I'm going to leave the motions open at this date. Any opens or ocean. There's no case consolidation. I'm going to indicate that the admissions of fact are too early. Exhibits are too early. Instead, discovery for 60 days out, Ms. Hoffman, is that about right?
Yes, that sounds good, Your Honor.
Yeah, that 60 days discovery will have the parties exchange information, and then you'll get in writing what exactly they need in order to see if they have to see what they need in order to dismiss their complaint. Okay.
Okay.
And then you could also request in writing, and I would say put it in writing to let them know what you need and anything you need to substantiate their claim. Okay. So discovery, and what was that date? July 16th, 2024. I'm going to indicate too early on expert witnesses, too early on damages, no joinder of claims. It's a bench trial at this time unless one of the parties pays for a jury trial. I'm gonna say the possibility of settlement is as discussed. Is there anything you want placed under other, Ms. Hoffman?
No, thank you.
Anything you can think of, Mr. Little, in regards to, there's a section on this other. I'm gonna leave it blank at this time.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna not set this for case evaluation or mediation. Ms. Hoffman, do I have your authority to sign it via Zoom?
Yes.
And then, Mr. Little, I'm gonna have my court officer provide you with a copy, and you can take a look at it, and then you can sign it. I'll provide you with a pen. And that just kind of sets the time frame for what we're doing here. All right, Ms. Hoffman, you'll be in touch with Mr. Little concerning discovery requests, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. We'll prepare those and send those out.
All right. All right, Mr. Little has signed this. I will sign it of this date, May 17th. And then we will scan in electronically. And then, Mr. Little, you'll be provided a copy that you've already signed, okay? All right, anything else for the record in 2400929, Ms. Hoffman?
No, that's great. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Little, do you have any questions of me? No. You should be all set. Thank you for your appearance today.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Let's explain it. What's so weird is it will not take. Oh, that just let me.
I got it.
You're out now.
The funny thing
You're out
is,
now.
I was actually.
You know I'm just blaming you for all this.
Huh?
You know I'm just blaming you. For all
I know,
this.
I get blamed for everything.
Yeah.
I hate having stuff. I can't.
Maybe it hears you and it doesn't like that.
That can be.
Yeah. All right, that tantalizing civil docket, just, I know you can't get enough of it,
Can you get the court and then pick up everything?
but you don't think people want their weddings